Alright guys, 4:30 here in London. Let's have a look at the different moves in the market today. So if we start with some news from overnight. So overnight you had a bit of US dollar weakness, as you can see here on my charts for the euro. Bit of dollar weakness seen here as well in the pound. Gold pushing to the upside. T-notes as well pushing to the upside. So these move followed some comments from Steve Mnuchin, who's the US Treasury Secretary, where he said that we would prefer Jay Powell, who's actually a Fed member, for being the next Fed chair. Let me just show you here this chart here, showing that the different position of the Fed members and where they stand on the dovish to hawkish side. So this guy here, Jay Powell, so he's more on the dovish side, similar as Janet Yellen. So that would be more dovish. So then US dollar weakness, gold T-notes pushing to the upside, and that's the opposite from what we saw last week when we had the comments following the meeting between Mnuchin, Trump, and Kevin Walsh. Kevin Walsh having a more hawkish past. So last week we've seen more US dollar strength and gold and T-notes are pushing to the downside. But this is what happened overnight. And then this morning, 9:30, you have UK Services PMI. So expectation was 53.2, and then the actual number was 53.6. So a slight bit here on expectation. And the reaction seen in the market was this move here to the upside. So we were trading at around the pivot level. We tested the R1, managed to break the R1 level of the day at 133.07. Tested the previous high of the day, and then we just bounced back lower. Because, well, it was a bit on expectation, but if we have a look here at the different data. So this is the UK Services PMI for this month, and we're still in the lower range of the different readings that we've seen for the past 12 months. Hence this limited reaction seen here in the pound. After that, this afternoon you had the ADP Employment Change. So because this week is the first week of the month, so you have many data regarding the job situation in the US. So today 1:15 was the ADP Employment Change. Expectation was 125, so 125k new jobs created compared to last month, and the actual number was 135, so a bit 10k bits on expectation. And then we had the revision for the previous months. So revision was 9k lower, but if we have a look at the historical data, let me just show you here. So slight bit on expectation for this month, and then the revision slightly lower. But even if we had this lower revision, we still remains at elevated level for the previous months. So I would say this is overall a more bullish report, and the reaction that we've seen was US dollar strength, gold and T-notes pushing to the downside as well. So this move here seen in the euro following this data, and then a bit of strength US dollar, so weakness in the pound, and then gold and T-notes pushing to the downside as well. After that, 3 o'clock, you had the ISM Non Manufacturing PMI. So expectation was 55, and the actual reading was 59.8. So let me just show you here. So this is the historical chart for the ISM Non Manufacturing PMI, and as you can see, this is the best reading since 2004 that we've seen for the non-manufacturing reading, 59.8. In terms of reaction in the market, US dollar strength, as you can see here, 3 o'clock, euro pushing lower, and then you also have weakness in the gold and in the T-notes. After that, 3:30, you had the US weekly oil inventories from the Department of Energy. So let me just make this oil chart a bit bigger. So these two candles here were the reaction from the API last night. So more bearish reaction here seen in the price of oil. And today, the reaction seen following the DOE was this move here. So we're trading at around the 50.24 before the release. Managed to break above the pivots. Managed to make new high for the session. Tested the R1 level of the day at 50.57. And now we still remain at around the R1 level of the day. So the data. So as I said yesterday, bearish reaction seen following the API data. So yesterday API was accrued minus 4 million, Cushing a build, gasoline a build, and for Cushing was the biggest build since March, gasoline was the biggest build since January, and distillate was a small drawdown, 584k. And then here, these are the DOE for today, so bigger draw than expected for crude, minus 6 million, smaller build seen for the Cushing, plus 1.5, smaller build for gasoline, plus 1.6, and then distillate was a bigger draw, minus 2.6. So 4 readings here, printing better than expected, so it's more bullish, positive for the price of oil, because you had bigger draw and smaller build compared to the API from last night. Hence, the reaction that we've seen here in the price of oil. And then finally, today the S&P still making new all-time highs. Let me just bring up the S&P chart here. So as you can see here on this chart, for the past 4 days, so 4 days in a row, the S&P has been making new all-time high. So this was last Friday, Monday, here is Tuesday, and here now we're still remaining at all-time high levels in the S&P, trading at 25.34 and 3/4. Also today I came across a tweet regarding a tropical depression. It's called Tropical Depression 16. Let me just transition the screen here. So this website is the National Hurricane Center website. As you can see here, this is the tropical depression I'm talking about. And the scientists forecast this depression to turn into a hurricane over the weekend, the coming weekend. So good to monitor this situation for the coming days. And finally, if we have a look at the calendar for tomorrow, so you have some data coming out overnight for Australian economy, retail sales and trade balance at 1:30 London time, and then pretty quiet morning here in Europe. And then 12:30 you have the ECB meeting minutes. 1:30 you have US data with the trade balance, and then later at 3 o'clock you have the factory orders for the month of August. And then you also have a lot of central bankers scheduled to speak. So you have 2 ECB members in the morning, 4 Fed speakers tomorrow, and then 2 BOE members scheduled to speak for tomorrow as well. So good to keep an eye on these different central bankers. Okay guys, that's it for today. Hope you had a good session. Enjoy your evening, and I speak to you later. Thank you.